What's up, everyone? This is Quest for Tears, and in this week's video, I'm going to be continuing my Halloween theme series. I did generic costumes before in a previous video, but in this video, I'm going to be doing, I guess, popular costumes from popular franchises over the years. Let's just get into it. All right, so as I said, previously I did a video about generic Halloween costumes, costumes that maybe look like certain things, but they're just generic: pirate, alien, dog, cat, those types of things. This video, so from the tier list, it looks like it's taking the most popular pop culture movie or franchise or gaming, something within a certain year, and I think this spans, I don't know, a few decades. So you'll see as I bring up the screen in a minute here, but that's sort of the intro. I think I'm going to rank this similarly to how I did the generic costumes, and this one I'm going to kind of rank it not necessarily based on how much I love the franchise, although that will play into it, but I think I will rank them on also if I think I would feel comfortable or would want to wear a costume like that. So we'll see. I'm gonna walk the line. I'm sure the influence of the franchise is going to play into that, and if it's a female costume, I'll just sort of either envision if I was a female and wanted to wear that, or if I'd like a female to wear that costume or something along those lines. So anyways, let's pop it up here. Here we go. As you can see, we have different years. So these were like the popular things of that time, apparently. That's how I'm reading this. But I'm just going to kind of go through it, and let's start here. Now, this is slightly embarrassing because I don't know. I think this is Fortnite. I'm going to go on the assumption that it is Fortnite, because if it isn't, I'm not sure which gaming franchise. But so apparently in 2018, we're going to say Fortnite was the popular thing. I was not ever really into Fortnite a ton, or hardly at all. I mean, I did play it briefly. But as a costume goes, here's the thing. So Fortnite, they're showing this one image, but I'm just going to assume, this is the whole franchise and whatever. There's a lot of decent costumes out of Fortnite, a lot of decent characters and skins, and even more so now, which can encompass anything from like Marvel or whatever. So it kind of squeezes into a certain sweet spot there where you can kind of pull multiple franchises from one game. They had, I think original characters, and some of those were decent. So as a costume goes, Halloween costume, I think there's a lot of good selection here. So I'm going to put that in S. Then we have in 2020, we have Among Us, very popular. I didn't play it. I'm not a huge fan of like hidden identity games and stuff. So never really a fan, but I saw some people play it. Obviously was very big in the pop culture scene. So as a costume goes, would I want to wear it? It's just like a big suit with a visor, different colors. I don't know. It's not a top tier for me. We're looking at B or C probably. I don't love it. I think I'd put it at a C. It's nothing I would go for, really. And then in 2023, Barbie was the big deal. As costumes go, Barbie's fine. I mean, you're just dressing up like a girl wearing pink, or you're dressing up like a Ken doll type, or Ken, which also, again, like this image here, bright colors and things like that. Personally, that's not something I'm going to dress up in. I don't really care about seeing somebody I don't personally think that's super cool. So is it the worst thing? I don't know. I'm not going to say it's like D. I'll keep it at C with Among Us. Then we have The Simpsons, 1994. Simpsons would be okay. I mean, I like The Simpsons. As a costume, though, how would that work? You just gonna wear regular clothes? Do you wear some big thing? I'm trying to envision a costume for this. How would that work as a costume? The Simpsons. I don't think it works very well as a costume. You gotta paint your face yellow and dye your hair yellow and stuff if you want to be Bart, or Marge. I've seen people do Marge, but the face paint, like it's not the greatest costume. Let's be honest. It really isn't. It might be one of the worst costumes. And I'm trying to set franchise aside because I like The Simpsons. But when it comes to a costume, this might be a D. I don't think this is a good costume. Yeah, it's going to be D. So, Batman. I mean, and this is my Batman. Michael Keaton, 1989, Tim Burton Batman. I specifically remember wanting that cowl, like the full rubber cowl from this movie. So this is a costume that I would have worn. And Batman's not my top superhero, but he was up there back then. I'm gonna put S. That's a good costume. Then Beetlejuice, 1988. We just watched Beetlejuice the other day, and it was much more boring than I remember it being. I remember liking it when I was younger, and I didn't love it. So I haven't seen the newest one yet, but do I want to wear a Beetlejuice costume? Of course, I'm going to focus on Beetlejuice. There's other characters in the movie, and now there's the sequel, but this is specifically 1988. So he's got the kind of the classic striped white and black striped suit. He's kind of a zombie, I guess, or ghoul. I don't know what Beetlejuice is, but I'm going to try to set the idea aside of having to do face paint and stuff. Like, I don't like that. I don't really like that at all. Do I factor that in as a Halloween costume? I mean, this is a good one, generally speaking. Like, you could pull this one off and make it look cool. I don't like the face paint part of it. So I'm going to put it as a B because I think it's a little better than these. But yeah. Now we've got Batman Returns, the sequel to the 1989. We've got Catwoman in specifically here. Generally speaking, I would say you could, rate anything within this movie. It also had Penguin and Batman again. So based just on that alone, in theory, I should put it back up at S because I could dress up as Batman again. Catwoman, though. Let's take a look at Catwoman. I mean, the Batman also had Joker, the first one. Joker's a great one. Again, don't love the face paint, but I could still be Batman. But anyways, Catwoman. Would I like to see a female in the Catwoman costume? It's not bad. It's not a terrible one. Penguin. I mean, that's a creepy kind of one as well. Well, because I can do Batman again, I'll put it in S. 2021, Cruella de Vil. A franchise I don't care for that much, but this is a pretty decent costume. Like the kind of two-tone wig and stuff, like as a Halloween costume goes, pretty decent. I wouldn't mind seeing a female wear that. So I'm going to focus mostly on Cruella because that's all I can remember from that sort of movie. But I'll put that in S. I think that's a decent one. In 1974. This, people probably know what this is. I have no idea what this is. I pretty much know nearly all of these. This one, I don't. What was in 1974? A woman had a huge hat. All I can go is based off this image. I didn't put a don't know in here, so I'm just going to go off this image. Is this a good costume? I mean, it's okay. I'm going to put it at a C, I guess. It's nothing exciting. Then we got 1980. I believe this is Dukes of Hazzard. That's Daisy, I believe. Daisy Duke. Anyways, this falls, if we're talking about Daisy, this in particular falls under a little bit more sexy costume. If we're talking about the boys in the movie, I can't even picture in my mind. They're just a bunch of kind of hillbilly looking type, I don't know what they're, southern, just something, flannels and things like this. Farm as a costume. If I saw, like, let's base it off this image. If I saw a female in that, would I think she's attractive? Probably. But as a costume goes, like, did you do a real good, like, this could just be like what any woman wears on any given day at this point. And same thing with the guys in the movie. Now, unless you drove up in the famous car, General Lee or something, is that what they called it? I'm going to say this is, as costumes go, this is almost an F because this looks like regular clothes. Yeah, I'm going to put that as an F. I don't think these are a good costume. In fact, when I'm looking at this, I don't know what this is. I'm going to put it as a D because I don't know what it is. At least you got the hat. It's a little different, but these look like regular clothes. Star Wars. As costumes go, this is 2005. So that 2005, that's a weird year. What is that? That had to be the end of the prequel. That's probably Revenge of the Sith in particular, Birth of Darth Vader. There's a lot of Jedis and things still. I'm not as big of a Star Wars fan as I once was, but again, this has a lot to play off of, a lot of different costume choices. I think that's going to be S tier. Jurassic World of some sort, one of the Jurassic Worlds, maybe the last one. I mean, what are we gonna wear here? We're gonna wear one like an inflatable costume, like like if somebody could have one of those actual like sweet looking like raptor costumes and stuff. If you've seen where like they get into it and it's like they puppeteer it almost, like those are sweet. But most people aren't having a costume like that. But because that exists, if somebody had that costume, that's a S tier. But because any other envisioning of this franchise is not that great to me, I'm going to put it as a B. That if somebody had that sweet looking raptor type costume, that's an S right there, just that costume alone. But as a franchise goes, I think people wearing like the blow up stuff and, or just dressing up as a character from the movie, they're pretty bland. But I'll give it the B for that. 1970. This is kind of a weird one. Elvis Presley in 1970, wasn't he more famous in the 50s and 60s? But Elvis Presley, well, plain old Elvis Presley. I don't know, it's like Barbie. C. I don't care to see somebody dressed up as Elvis Presley that much. E.T. How do you dress up as E.T.? I more envision somebody having like E.T. as a prop itself to accent your costume, but the rest of it is just like kids in the movie, undistinguishable unless they have E.T. with them. So as a costume goes, is E.T. any good? Probably not. I mean, if you have E.T. with you, it's better. So maybe I'll say C, as long as you're the main kid, and you have E.T. with you. If you dress up as E.T. himself, that's hit or miss. I don't know how you pull that off. I'll put it at a C. Rocky Horror Picture Show, that's just an instant F. I never even it's just like a bunch of drag and stuff. Like, no thanks. I don't want to see anybody in that. Queen, I believe. Is that Freddie Mercury? 1976. People dressing up as Freddie Mercury. That's about on par with like Elvis. Nothing special. Elsa and Anna, Frozen, many other things you could do. The Snowman, many different characters in there. Olaf, almost forgot his name. Anyways, Frozen. It's okay. Like, nothing. Like, I don't think it's the greatest costume or franchise or whatever. It's a good one for kids. I'll say it's an A for kids, especially if you do a really good job with it. Do the hair and stuff. It's decent. Good one for kids. Scream. I've never seen Scream, but as a Halloween costume goes, that's pretty decent. It's pretty easy to pull off. Decent costume. Overall, as a Halloween costume goes, I think it's an S tier costume. Ghostbusters. In fact, I may have dressed up as a Ghostbuster when I was younger. I remember having some of I think the Proton Pack or something. Ghostbusters is all right. It's not bad. I think I'm going to put that as an A as far as a costume goes. It's not terrible. I would wear it. Jumpsuit, basically. Godzilla. I love Godzilla, but as a costume, it kind of falls under the Jurassic Park thing. And I've not seen good. I mean, technically, the old Japanese Godzilla movies, it was just a guy in a suit. And if somebody literally came in legitimately as Godzilla, like one of those cool suits from the movies, that would actually be pretty sweet. I wouldn't necessarily want to wear it, but I'll put it with same as Jurassic Park if somebody had one of those cool suits. Hannah Montana, 2007. There's nothing super special about this. It's kind of just like wearing a wig and sparkly clothes or something. Kind of falls into that Barbie sort of thing. I'm going to put it here. I don't think that's a great costume. Now, I'm going to be especially biased here because I am a huge Harley Quinn fan. I already have another video where I rank Harley Quinn's costumes, and I put this one, I believe I put this at an S tier. But as a costume goes for Halloween, sure. Harley Quinn, 100%. This is the Suicide Squad one. I love it. Love it. Harry Potter. Not a Harry Potter fan. I've mentioned that before. As the costume goes, it was my generic one. I talked about it. There's nothing wrong with it. Nothing inherently wrong with the costume itself. If you're a Harry Potter fan, it's great. It's a pretty easy costume. For me personally, I don't love it. And with everything else that's on here, I'd put it right here at the B's. Indiana Jones. It's a decent one. It's a decent costume to wear. Pretty comfortable. You look pretty sweet, especially if you get a whip and everything. I'm putting that at S. That's an S tier costume. Iron Man. Oh boy, Iron Man. Or is this Avengers? I'm not sure which specifically this is, but it shows a picture of Iron Man, so we're just going to kind of lean into Iron Man. Iron Man is a cool costume if you can get like literally one of the legit like Iron Man suits that some of these people build. But if you're talking like, are you just getting the pajama onesie as Iron Man with a crappy face mask? That's going to look like crap. So again, we're kind of teetering that line of like the Jurassic World thing. Are we getting that sweet Iron Man costume or crappy pajama onesies with a plastic face mask helmet thing? Iron Man's not like my favorite. I'm going to give it an A. Again, sort of teetering that thing like Iron Man would be pretty sweet if somebody has the one as the costume. I would put it on. I would try it. So it goes there. Pirates of the Caribbean, I've also mentioned in my previous one. I'm not a super big pirate fan, so the pirate costume itself isn't like the greatest to me, but I would rather wear it than some other ones. I'll put that as an A. Seems good enough. Here we go. Brady Bunch, 1973. What are we going to do? We're just going to dress up a bunch of normal clothes and stuff. That's pretty much going to F, kind of like the Dukes of Hazzard thing. It's like you're just going to look like a regular person. Nobody's going to know you're dressing up as the Brady Bunch. Here we have, I think this is Gem. I think. If I'm wrong, I don't know what it is. But as a costume, it's probably better than Barbie. It's a little different than Barbie, but it's real close to Barbie. There's a little bit more flair to it. So I'll put it as a B. Hunger Games, Katniss, other people, some of this is okay as a costume goes. Like as just how would I feel wearing the clothes and things? Oh boy, you could get crazy if you really wanted to do like the city people with their high fashion clothes. I'll give it an A because there's some range in there. I don't mind that. Yeah. Back to the Future. This is close to street clothes and stuff, but there are some iconic things about it. And honestly, I loved this. I tried to get clothes similar to this at one point in time when I was younger. I'm going to give that an S because I personally would love to wear it. I think it's iconic enough that you know what it is. Thriller. Michael Jackson. I mean, his outfit's pretty iconic in that regard. I'll give it an A because you kind of know what that is. It's not something I would super want to wear, but like you know what it is. So let's do that. This is, I believe, Halloween. The character, I believe, is Mike Myers. There's other characters in the movie, but let's just focus on this. As a creepy thing, it kind of falls under the Scream thing. It's nothing that I would want to wear personally. I actually like the Scream mask better than this one. I'm going to put this as an A because this obviously it's like a classic type Halloween costume. Then we've got It, Stephen King's It. You know what it is if you see it, but it's a lot of work to get like the makeup and stuff on. For me personally, and it's clown. I don't really like clown stuff because it's an okay costume. It's kind of better than what this row would be. I'll put it here to B. Power Ranger. It's not terrible. It's a very spandexy costume. Would I want to wear it? I mean, you would at least be hidden under the mask, I suppose. But would I want to wear this costume? Probably not. But if you got a group of people together and whatever, it's a decent group costume. So I'll give it an A for that reason. Now here we have the original Star Wars, A New Hope. There's classic costumes here. Again, I think Star Wars is always going to have to be S tier for the most part. RoboCop sort of falls under the Iron Man, but boy, I've never seen anybody wear a RoboCop costume. But if you looked like RoboCop, that's an S tier for sure. Like if you could get a decent costume, I would definitely like to see a RoboCop costume, and I would wear that. What is this, Spice Girls? People like the Spice Girls. But again, as a costume goes, do you know who they are? Could you even tell that you're the Spice Girls? I'm going to give that a D just because I like the Spice Girls. But I don't think you would be able to pick that out. I don't think you would look at somebody and go, you're a Spice Girl. Nah. Spider-Man, I mean, S. If you have a decent Spider-Man costume, Spider-Man's an S tier. SpongeBob. Now this is a tricky one too. It's really tricky to do the cartoon ones. It kind of falls under the Among Us thing. Like SpongeBob has more variety than Among Us. But how are you going to pull off a costume from this? I'll give it a step up from... It's more iconic, I think, than Among Us. and there's more variety of characters to pick from. So I'll do that. People can be creative. I won't go past a B though. Star Trek. You know what Star Trek is. It's clear. And I would rather wear Star Trek than these other ones. So Star Trek's S for me. Stranger Things. Again, these are really basic costumes. If you dressed as like 11, maybe you'd be a bit more iconic. I think I'll have to put this at a B tier though, because I don't think you could easily distinguish this as a costume. Boy, I feel like I should know what this is, and I recognize this image and I don't know what this is. I don't know. I can't remember. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to rank it based on this image alone. It looks like there's like a tracksuit or something. It looks like maybe it would be more of an iconic look than some of these other things. Like maybe you know based on this tracksuit or whatever. So I'm going to just put it as C. Superman. I mean, do we even need to pause to talk about this? I mean, it's Superman. Superman's top. Love Superman. That's easily, yeah, I would do that one for sure. Terminator, sweet looking. I think there's enough, like if you really did it right, you would know you're the Terminator. I'll put that as an A. That's definitely a costume I would wear for sure. The Godfather. I've never seen The Godfather, never had a desire to, but I know what it is. It's like, it's an iconic sort of look, costume. If you dressed as this, I think anybody would know. I don't personally want to dress as it, but it's not terrible. So I'm going to put it as a B. This is the Batman, The Dark Knight. We have Joker specifically. I've seen a lot of people wear this Joker costume, and it works. You have the Batman. I like the other Batman one better, but it's not bad. I've seen some decent costumes from this. Mostly people pulling off the Joker costume because it's not too hard. For me, boy, I'll give it an A. I've seen people do the Joker justice. It's a decent costume. The Matrix. I think you would know. It's the Matrix. If you saw somebody wearing a big trench coat like that, black, or the tight, spandex thing. I don't know what Trinity's wearing. That's an S. I would definitely love to see Matrix and wear the Matrix as a costume. This is surprising. Princess and the Frog. Like, of all these things, we've had Frozen and Princess and the Frog. Like, that was the top Disney ones out of these, because like you don't really hear people talk about Princess and the Frog too much. And honestly, I don't know if you would know what that's from, because this is not that, to me, it's not that popular. But I'm gonna have to go C on this because I just can't envision the costumes being that great. So yeah. Now, Ninja Turtle. I love Ninja Turtles. This would be, boy, if you could dress up like one of those Ninja Turtles and get your hands on one of those costumes, that would be amazing. But otherwise, I mean, there's been all kinds of Ninja Turtle costumes. As a costume goes, it's S tier. I love the Ninja Turtle costume. Twilight. What Twilight? These are very normal looking clothes type situation, sort of like a Stranger Things and whatever. You might have a little bit of iconicness if you could pull it off, or like people might know what you're doing. I'll give it a B. It's not like the worst clothes to wear or anything. It's just, it's mediocre. I believe this is V for Vendetta. Nothing great about this. It's nothing terrible. I mean, I'll put it at a B. I'd rather wear that than probably some of these C-tiered ones. Willy Wonka. I think you would know. I think that it's Willy Wonka. It's not a costume I would super want to wear, but it's also not terrible. There's nothing wrong with Willy Wonka. Maybe I'll put that as an A. I think you'd know it's Willy Wonka, and you could be silly with it. I'll put it as an A. Wonder Woman. I mean, for females, it's a costume. I'm not a huge fan of Wonder Woman, but if I'm trying to be like honest looking at everything here, I'd probably rather see some woman wear a Wonder Woman costume than a Barbie one, for instance, or Hannah Montana. But I'm not going to go past, I'd rather see these ones. Then we end off with Austin Powers. Austin Powers. Boy, there was a time when it could have been like apparently in the 2000s. People would have known Austin Powers, but as of now, I think it's kind of bland. I don't think many people are going to know who it is necessarily, unless obviously if you talk and do the voice and everything. I think it's bland. I think it's like the C rank. It's lost its luster a little bit. So yeah, I think I did pretty good at ranking these as I'm looking here. I don't think I'd want to change anything. This is sort of what I feel like I would consider wearing. I'm only sort of thinking about moving the Mike Myers Halloween down to a B tier because personally I wouldn't probably pick that. It's not a bad costume overall as far as Halloween costumes go, but I probably wouldn't wear it. So that's the only one that kind of keeps poking out at me as to change. So that's it. Okay, that's it. That is my final tier list for popular franchise costumes. Let me know how you would have ranked these. What would be your top costumes? Have you ever worn any of these costumes before? Yeah, I'd love to hear in the comments below. Do you have any F tiers? Do you agree with how I ranked these things? Yeah, I think that's going to be it. I believe I have one more Halloween tier list video for you coming next week, and that will sort of end this season's October Halloween themed videos. So until I talk to you guys next time, like and subscribe the video. Leave me those comments that I said. If you have future tier list videos you'd like me to do, let me know. Let me know what you want me to rank. And yeah, hit the bell button to be notified when I release new videos. And until next time, I will see you on the next Quest for Tears.